something that will be helpful in understanding this proper.
Then why are they calling it state? If now the explanation is the state changes, then it should not be said in the first place, right?
I think maybe it doesn't have a better word
That's correct.
to describe.
That's correct. When you use the word state, you have to qualify it very well. It's not the state that you go in and then stay and then go out. You have to qualify
Yes,
it.
so it's not
Because then that is not what you want.
State is a condition of it.
A state is a condition in which you were not there before, you didn't have it before, then you finally get it, and then because you get it within time, space, and causality, you will eventually lose it.
also we should not stay.
All states are fleeting, changing.
So it's the city means reality.
That's right. Okay, here, stita means steadiness.
Steady.
No, but the Sita Prajna is the state.
Yeah,
Sthiti. So what is this sthiti means? Is it a reality instead of being a state?
You can call it condition, as you say, it is because of lack of a better word.
Okay.
But we have to see that that word doesn't create a confusion that you're going to get into a particular state.
Yeah.
So we cannot say the Sthita Prajna is a state.
State. Yeah. Because of state changes.
That's right. State is not something you go into. That's correct. I'm going to say sthiti refers to the nishta or steadfastness in the knowledge. Addressing Arjuna as Partha, the son of Pritha, Krishna told Arjuna that being a Sita Prajna is a state, sthiti, of being in Brahman, born of the knowledge of Brahman. However, once we use the word state, there's a problem. Because being only a state, it will not always be the same. Previously, something was not, and now this something is in a particular state. Later, using the same logic, it will be lost when another state is gained. Just as the prior state was lost when this state was gained. So, the word state, he puts quote unquote, as though state. Okay? Now, we're going to see more about it. Continue reading, please.
When the waking state goes, dream comes. When the dream state goes, sleep comes. When sleep also goes, waking comes. When this particular life is gone, another life comes. Because of centrifugal force, we find that certain things are in a particular state or position, and when the force is gone, they are no more in the same position. Similarly, any state is subject to loss, subject to change. Otherwise, it would not be called a state. So, state means a position.
No state. That's what they are explaining. The state is not the right.
It's not, yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, it is important to note that we are not discussing samadhi here, which is a state. The question about what happens after one comes out of samadhi often arises. The final stage of samadhi, wherein there are no thought modification whatsoever. The nirvikalpa samadhi is a state and therefore will be lost. Since Krishna used the word sthiti here, one may question how long this state will last, if indeed it is ever gained. The word state is used in these words only for want of a better word and does not mean something that will be lost. This nishtha is knowledge of Brahman. It is not that Atma goes into Brahman and sits there. All that is there is Atma, the self, and the self happens to be Brahman. Therefore, it is something to be understood.
Very careful. In the course of trying to expound the teaching of Vedanta, the word state it's expressed quite a bit because actually sthita, that's what it means. So proper understanding needs to be there. Because if it is not, let's suppose the person that is expounding it knows what it means. The person knows what it means. Not necessarily dictionary meaning. It means the person is actually sthita prajna. Okay? But it needs to be unfolded properly. It needs to be clarified. Otherwise, the student will think it is a state in which you enter. In the traditional yoga, for example, in the 8 steps of Patanjali's, Ashtanga, they call it. There is this Vikalpa Samadhi. And there's a state. There is a state in which you go out, you go in and you go out. Out of. And that is taken to be the goal, the objective of the discipline of this, they call it Raja Yoga, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Even so, because of that, since there are very few Vedantic teachers that are knowledgeable, and not only knowledgeable, but that can wield the Shastra proper, the teaching, then the words are used lightly by someone that might be established in herself. Might be a Brahmanishta. Brahmanishta means someone that's established in Brahman. But not necessarily a Kshatriya, someone that has the ability to be able to unfold the teaching in a way that the person cannot be misguided. And I've seen this happen a lot. And it's very difficult to break that. Because, here my teacher says that. And that's right. The teacher didn't mean that it was a state you go in and out. It was still, the teacher knew what it was a state nishta. It's a sthiti, I'm sorry. Sthiti is a state, but not in a normal sense. But if the teacher somehow didn't clarify it, or the person was not available to listen to it properly, didn't have the discipline to be able to listen properly, or the teacher did not unfold it properly, and left the thing like that, then the state becomes...
Right, yeah. If it was not said, then we will take it as a state. Okay, so it is explained.
So then this samadhi becomes the end, instead of just a condition that is, let's say, necessary as a means. It's a quality. This is a quality of mind, a mind in quietude, a complete quietude, silence. But one of the things that takes place is that then the world becomes a problem. Why? Because it's very difficult to stay in that state. You know what I'm talking about? Let's suppose you get married. Everything is hunky-dory, nice and rosy and everything. Okay? The honeymoon ends. Then she's got a bulge. And he's got it. So no more sex, whatever. It becomes a problem. The states change. And then what happens is that then we as human beings are trying to, we actually, seek to understand, because we want to resolve our lives. Then we take that to be true. And pretty soon my wife becomes a problem for me. Because she doesn't go along with what I believe, let's say. My children become a problem for me. My work becomes a problem for me. And you know what? At the end, the pressure is so much outside that I drop the whole thing of spirituality. I might just dress it every once in a while, Sundays or something. But I need to, either that or I need to be in an ashram, confined in an environment in which that state can constantly be maintained. You see the problem? And then what happens is, a society, instead of this teaching, this vision, breeding human beings that are free from dependencies, now we have a society with people that all these trips that come on, and they're now so bound by all this stuff that then they feel guilty because they cannot maintain the state. Then they can feel bad because they cannot maintain it, or they become, let's say, how do you say that, hypocrites, saying they have it And they talk in a particular way, they look in a particular way, they walk in a particular way, they dress in a particular way, and so on and so on. And you know what? Society rejects them. And look at these weirdos. You see the idea? And it is not the flaw of the teaching. It is the flaw of sometimes, the ability for a person to pick up or someone to clarify it. So this guy pays you $5 million. He believed you, he liked you, the way your eyes are and all that. He gave you the $5 million to do the job. But the guy doesn't understand why. You know what they call buyer's remorse? Buyer's remorse, you know what that means? You go and buy something, you pay the money, now you got it, now you wish you hadn't gotten it. Or you justify it in front of your wife. Now this guy gave you the $5 million, now he's got to justify it to his wife. He comes up with all kinds of bull. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Now you're doing something good for the fellow, but you didn't unfold it to him, completely to the guy. They gave you the $5 million. He had charisma, he was a nice fellow and all that. He seemed to be, honest and all that. You give him the money. You didn't know why. You are completely his mercy. Now he could be a crook, or he could be someone real. Or you could be some crook or something. Or you could be somebody honest. But you really don't know. And you give him a cloak of honesty, he really doesn't have it. And maybe he's honest, but you don't understand why. That is one of the things about this particular teaching that is very important, because it is talking about you. And even if let's suppose the mind doesn't own it up. Well, let's just say that, because this is what happened. Let's suppose the mind doesn't own it up. In other words, so I'm not going for the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, okay, and so on, blindly. Now, the mind doesn't own it up, and I see my mind reverting, reverting back to the old
ways.
Now I say, oh my God, I'm not Brahman after all. Look at me, I went to striptease and I can't get out of it. I'm not Brahman after all. Guilt comes, either that, or you just cover it up, hoping nobody will notice. You feel guilty, and you have this stress in your heart. Then the teaching becomes another source of stress. You see the idea? But let's suppose I understand this properly. And I know that independent of, let's suppose the ring is crooked. It got bent. So the ring is bent. Because of a particular situation, I was trying to put a nail and I hit the ring and it became crooked. Alright? If the ring is crooked, it still is gold. Something happened, some circumstance happened that he just crashed it for a while. You can still, but let's suppose you cannot do it right away, and the thing remains bent for a little while, crushed a little bit, scratched or something. Gold doesn't cease to be gold. And you don't have to pretend or anything. That ring knows how gold has me. And I am valuable, not because of the shape of the ring, even though that has to do, but that's completely independent from me. Who I am is fine. So there's no cloak of trying to put out certain airs. You understand? Now, that is a little bit difficult to follow. Why? Because generally people require something that they can actually judge it, because everything is in a dual sense. But the person knows the non-duality. Like gold has me, I am that gold. And if the ring has got some flaws, it's not mine, it belongs to the ring. Now I'll try to see if I can do something in order to straighten it out. But let's suppose I don't have enough life. Let's say I didn't get the chance to become an engineer. I left school when I was in junior high. Now I'm 69 years old, and in order to become an engineer, my God, it's difficult. So, is there something wrong with me? Nothing wrong with me. See the idea? Now you might be see something wrong with me because oh, this guy is a fool. He doesn't know engineering. I know. From that standpoint, yes, I got this particular bend or scratch, but there's nothing wrong with me. I won't go there, trying to be better than you or less than you. You see, that's the situation. And when the thing is seen as a state that I reach, and then I need to reach it. Reach it means what? That it's not there. That you're not there. You have to enter into it. Is that right? Reaching. Going. How far? What kind of going does the ring have to do in order to be gold, to become gold? It doesn't become gold. It is gold. Bend as it might be. Small as it might be. But this becomes a problem when this thing is not properly unfolded. And I'm very appreciative of Swami Dayananda and any teacher, what's his name, that makes that clear for me. Because I'll tell you, I did a yoga trip for many years. And I'm a living example of the consequence of misunderstanding this whole thing. And my children and my family are a living example of what they had to go through because of that. And I see so many people that are so good, and they're good people. But because of this misunderstanding and the commitment of pursuit, that they're going to become something. And then finally, they seem to finally gotten it. Oh, I had this Vikalpa Samadhi. I can't hold it. Why? I mean, my wife asked me to take the dog's poo-poo out of the backyard. See the idea? You take away my state. This is so critical, so basic, but at the same time, it's something that's so misunderstood. Swami Dayananda then is doing a very good job of just bringing that up. Okay? Anyway, yeah, it happens a lot. Happens a lot. Especially in India, there's a lot of that. Here, as Indians come, Hindus come, and they bring the same idea sometimes. Same idea about this particular sthiti, being state. All these yogis and all that.
Becoming something.
Yeah, or there's some becoming, or there's always becoming. And the ring doesn't have to become gold, it is already gold. Crooked as it might be.
No, it's gold.
It's gold. See?
And the nugget, when you find it, it's not nice.
That's right. It's not nice. That's correct. But gold it is.
You don't throw it away.
Yeah.
Take it to the goldsmith and start making it.
He's shaping it.
Yeah.
And that's all. All right. So do you see the value of this thing here? Because you and I are going to fall from some individuality. You want to slip. As some of you say, the old tape.
Correct.
The old tape, that's playing again. I said, my God, I'm not Brahman after all. I'm falling away from God. You see the idea? And I mean, if there's a commitment to the pursuit of truth, and if this is not clearly understood, the moment will come that you become this illusion about yourself. So anyway, so that's the idea. We tend to get hung up on the form.
Everybody too.
And if the person who knows this well, that the self is not a state you go in and get out, but the self is something you are all the time. And not only you, but everybody else. Then the form might be incidentally whatever it is. You see the idea? The form might be incidentally whatever it is. And there might be moments in which the person makes adjustments in his or her life, then the ring doesn't fit anymore, so you make something else out of it. So your personality is not this, you know what? I'm not going to become business anymore. Now I'm going to try to become an engineer. Oh my God, this thing? Why not? Oh, the engineer is like, you know what? I'm going to become a businessman. How about all the years? Isn't that? Now you're disgraced. What is your father going to think? And so on and so on. Who you are is who you are. You make adjustments in your life. But who you are doesn't change. So this state thing becomes a big problem. If it is not properly understood, that's why you're required to be we're going to see next time, knowledge of Brahman is not a state. That's going to be the subject of the next class. Okay? Very good. All right. Hari Om Krishna.